journeymen, they're savvy, but you can beat the winning mentality out of them in a fight because they've already lost, you know. But when you
Exactly.
take on prospects, they grit their teeth a little bit more. They don't want to get that L, right?
Exactly.
And so you've dealt with that already. You've dealt with that already. So it's interesting.
And I love that I'm fighting an undefeated fighter because it brings out a different side of me.
Welcome into the big fight breakdown here on ProBox TV. Download the ProBox TV app. Never fall behind in your boxing news. Also, check out our Wednesday night fights. That's right. This week, the super middleweights on display. Of course, Canelo Alvarez fighting this weekend against Berlanga. But Wednesday, September 11th, right here on ProBox TV, Lester Martinez versus JOESHON James. That's our big fight. In studio, Jimmy Smith alongside the champ, Chris Algieri, joining us via Zoom, Paulie Malignaggi, and also joining us, JOESHON James himself, half of our main event. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get into the X's and O's, JOESHON, this opportunity, Angelo Leo, of course, successful on air, now a world champion. What would a win in the main event against another undefeated fighter mean for your career, man?
You know, a win is very big, but to do it in a spectacular fashion, just like how Leo did it, man, I mean a lot. So I'm looking to go in there and really beat this guy down and really make an example out of him.
Yeah, JOESHON, welcome back. You know, we enjoyed calling your last fight against Volkan Alexander. You showed some real skills that night. We were able to utilize your length against a very, very savvy, tricky guy who gives everybody trouble. Speak to that fight, what you learned in that fight, and what you're going to bring and show come September 11th.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be a whole different person in there. I know there was a few things that Polly wanted me to work on in there, circling a certain way. So I've always had that in the back of my mind, training since then. And I'm gonna be reinvented, recreative, and go out there and execute the game plan that we've been working on camp. You know, because I was supposed to already fight a few weeks back on ProBox, but so I've had a long camp. So I'm ready to go in there and display my skills.
You know, JOESHON, a lot of prospects, they come to this level and it's a step up. It's a point where, you know, you sort of put up or shut up, right? And in a lot of ways this fight is, but
Exactly.
a lot of times those prospects really haven't been anywhere near this level, and then it sort of step up, right? You've sort of had to step in and fight undefeated guys, beat undefeated guys, take on guys with good records. What makes Lester a little bit different than the rest of the guys you've beaten and knocked off? I'm sure this is not the first time you're coming in as somebody who's might be overlooked. What makes Lester a little bit different than the other fights? What makes this
That's
particular? Because it's a
that's
main event, is it?
that's actually kind of funny because I was just talking to my coaches about that literally about 20 minutes ago. I really don't think there's anything different with this guy. I've been in this position plenty of times. It's like my third main event. Just it's gonna be crazy being a main event on ProBox, but that's about the only thing. You know, I'm excited about that. But it's another day in the office for me, really. I just gotta go out there and execute the game plan we've been working on.
Yeah, because
Go out
JOESHON,
there and have fun.
because the thing about a lot of step ups, right? Guys usually go from journeyman to this level, and journeymen, they're savvy, but you can beat the winning mentality out of them in a fight because they've already lost, you know. But when you
Exactly.
take on prospects, they grit their teeth a little bit more. They don't want to get that L, right?
Exactly.
And so you've dealt with that already. You've dealt with that already. So it's interesting.
And I love that I'm fighting an undefeated fighter because it brings out a different side of me. Like when I fought Von Alexander, I don't think I really took the fight that serious because I know he had losses. I know he wasn't really coming out there biting down to really win. But this, I know Lester's coming to fight and I'm coming to fight. So you're gonna just get two fireworks in there. There's gonna be an explosion in there. So just going out there having fun. That's really what it's all about. 'Cause all the hard work's been done. I've been training hard, pushing my body to the limit. So I'm ready. I'm ready for Wednesday night.
What do you bring physically to this fight? You know, you're 6'1", you're really rangy, you're tall, you're slick. A lot of fighters, Chris and I were talking about this off air a little while ago, tall fighters who have a lot of range, a lot of times they're not that athletic. They can't put it together that well. They're a little bit slow getting their hands back. You seem to put it all together in a way a lot of fighters can't. Is that from the gym or is that just something you're physically good at?
I think I'm just athletic, man, all around. I can do it all. But I think it really throws these guys off once I'm in there. They think that I'm just going to be a boxer, but I can punch on the inside, outside, step back, man, side steps. I can do it all. So whatever he's gonna bring, I'm gonna have an answer for it.
Yeah, JOESHON, we're talking about your physicality, your length, your reach, which you used very well in that last fight. But this is your first fight at 68, correct?
Second fight.
Second fight. Okay, well speak to that, because the last fight was at, was at 160.
My first 168 fight only lasted 2 minutes, but you know, I'm feeling strong, man. I'm still eating, and I think maybe 168 is my weight class after this fight.
Yeah, because I saw some photos of you online next to Canelo Alvarez, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's not small for 68.
And JOESHON, you're only 26, right?
What was that?
You're only 26, right? 25,
yes,
26. Yeah, so you're still filling out, man. You know, like that's the thing. You're not growing lengthwise, but you at this age, you're still building muscle and filling out. It's when guys start doing that in their 30s that I start to question it. But in your 20s, you still have that growth, especially in your mid 20s.
Well, he's definitely got the frame though. You got the wide shoulders. You know, you got long arms. You're tall for the weight class. I think he'll carry that weight just fine. Like I said, Paulie, I got to send you this picture. I saw this picture of him next to Canelo, and I'm like, all right, this guy looks like a light heavyweight. I think he'll be fine at 68.
Exactly. It might be a light heavyweight after this fight. I don't know. But yeah, my second fight at 168, man, I'm feeling strong. Camp just eating, like, I just can't imagine if I was fighting at 160. But I'm excited for 168. I'm ready to show you guys some new stuff. Showtime is here.
What does a win over Lester Martinez do for you, JOESHON? You know, you're in a main event here. You know, you've been impressive in your career, even though it's been underrated, you know, underappreciated more so than that.
Exactly.
What do you think that a win here over Lester Martinez gets you that respect you've been sort of deserving and craving, obviously?
You know what? A win over Lester is going to really feel really good after, but you never know. It's about who you know and not, you know, what you do. I feel like in this sport of boxing, so if I have to keep proving myself over and over and over, and we got to keep fighting undefeated guys from other countries, and with this record and that record, so be it. You know, I'm here to fight. This is my job. This is my career. This is what I want to do. I just want to fight and give the fans great 50-50 fights where they don't know which way the fight gonna go until you get in.
How many amateur fights did you have, JOESHON?
60 amateur fights.
60 amateur fights. So you had
over a period of time, yeah. So like I said, if I got to keep proving myself after this fight, and we got to get another undefeated fighter, that's 30-0. So be it. Let's do it.
Plus 60 amateur fights out of California. You know, that's like 100 somewhere else. You know.
Exactly. So like I said, you know, I'm not really looking past Wednesday night. We know we're gonna think about that after the fight. But right now we got Lester Martinez in front of us.
JOESHON, when you look at this fight, Lester Martinez, 18 wins, 15 knockouts. He's a very heavy puncher. You talked about other fights that you're like, you know, Journeyman, you know, didn't necessarily take him that seriously. What juice does it bring out of you knowing this guy can put it on you with one shot? The guy's got real power. A lot of fighters talk about, I get excited about that. A little nervous, a little juice heading into the fight. How does that feel, and is it there?
Yeah, it's going to make me more aware when I'm in there, and just, okay, watch out for that right hand. Watch out for that left hook. Watch out for that big shot he likes to throw. So it's just going to keep me more on my toes. And, you know, you guys are going to see more a reactive, more alert fighter in there. I don't think I was really alert during Vaughn. I was getting hit. I think I got a little puffy on the eye and stuff. So I'm just taking this fight 110% seriously. And you guys are just going to see a whole different 360 from Vaughn Alexander.
Yeah, JOESHON, we had Hall of Famer, ESPN analyst Tim Bradley on one of our shows last week, and we were talking about you. And he said, "Oh yeah, I remember him. He fought Javier Martinez." And he goes, "Oh man, he's undefeated. You know, he's definitely obviously, but he's like those two draws, those were wins. Like, this guy fought in backyards. You know, you're used to being in that position. Yeah, and I think a lot of people may look at this fight, and they may look at Lester's record. They're going to look at your record, and they're like, all right, Lester's got this. But Paulie and I have been talking about this guy can fight. And as much as Lester's last fight was a big step up against Gongora, I think you're a harder fight. I think you're a tougher fight.
Literally, what my coach was just talking about, like, I think this is a hard fight for Lester. Yeah. This is a hard fight for Lester. And if he starts going in there thinking this is an easy fight and he starts making mistakes, oh man, it's not over for him. So, you know, and I think that's his game plan, is that he's just going to go in there and walk me down. which
Yeah.
ain't gonna be the case. So
Yeah, JOESHON, that's sort of the thing. As what Champ Chris was saying, with the alluding to, it's sort of how I was looking at Vaughn Alexander. Maybe Gongora is a little bit higher level than Vaughn at this point, but
mhm.
Gongora is still a guy who I felt had sort of the winning mentality beaten out of him, and whatever winning mentality was left, Lester beat it out of him. You know, it wasn't
Exactly.
hungry Gongora who remained crafty and remained willing to bite down. I think the difference with you is that you know, you're willing to bite down when the fight is on the line because you are that prospect. Like I said, you fought guys like that, and you are that guy yourself, where
Right.
it means a lot to win, and it's not just all right. I'll be crafty, but if another L, whatever, it's already there. You know, because like guys tend to get at a certain point in their careers. Um, I guess what I'm saying is, are you ready for that point? Because we're looking forward to that. That's why we were looking forward to this fight, because we know that the skills involved, but we also know that mentalities collide. And the mentality of
Exactly.
both fighters is win at all costs.
Yeah, and this is the fight. Like, this is the fight where all the hard work, all the training, you're here at that point, and now it's time to get you. Either you're gonna make it or break it past this point. So this is where everything comes into play. This is where we got to push through and get to that next step. So Lester's in the way. We're gonna break him down Wednesday night.
JOESHON, first off, thank you so much for joining us. Secondly, we're all looking forward to this fight. We are all looking forward to watching it. Thank you so much. Best of luck to you September 11th, man.
Appreciate you guys.
Gentlemen, you heard what the man had to say. Not just that, you saw his attitude, you saw his eyes. I liked everything I saw him, and he has the right frame of mind for this fight Wednesday.
Yeah, listen, I've been excited for this fight for a couple of weeks now because we know how good JOESHON really is. We've called Lester on our air.
And Tim
as well.
was bullish on this guy.
Yes, he was.
You did
Yes,
not BS this man.
Yeah. But I'm actually even more excited now after talking to him. Because like you said, he's got the right frame of mind. He's got the right physical frame. He's got the right frame of mind. He can fight. He's got the skills to match. I mean, this is and Champ, you brought up a great point about the mentalities of where these two fighters are. I don't think either one has been in the ring with someone who's at this level who also still needs this fight to win. And both these guys need to win this fight.
Yeah, and that's what makes the fights fun. That's why I always say, when fights happen a little bit late, when guys have made their money and their bellies are full, you don't get as hungry of a fight. The best fights are between high-level fighters when they're undefeated and still savagely hungry because what their goals are still in front of them, not behind them. You're going to have two undefeated guys with their major goals behind them. Yeah, it's an interesting fight. They have a lot of fame, but it tends to disappoint when you have guys fighting in their prime and they're savage and they're hungry and their goals are in front of them. Well, you tend to get good fights, and we tend to make these kind of fights here at ProBox. And when you get them at a high level, that's really what made boxing great in the old days. Those, even prime championship level fighters were fighting their prime. We'll give it to you here on ProBox, and hopefully it starts to bleed over into the bigger fights as well.
Chris, let's talk a little bit about that line. There's something I call in combat sports the happy to be here's, right? They're happy to be on a big platform. I'm really thrilled to be on ProBox, but that idea of being hungry enough to be a champ and be a standout isn't there. There's also that idea of once you get to a certain level, and both you guys have been there, it's a job. You're a professional. It's exciting, but it's a job. That midline where you're getting that 12, let's say 10 to 20 fights-ish, where it's still fun, but you're still hungry to be a champion. I saw all of that fun in JOESHON's eyes. How important is that at this point in his career?
Yeah, that's a really good description and catch, Jimmy. And that's the best part of your career is when you're happy to be there, but you're also understanding what's next and you're understanding the springboard. And I think ProBox TV especially, I think more and more fighters, now I know it, more and more fighters understand that's what that is. I think guys used to come and be like, I'm happy to be here, I'm happy to get the exposure. Now it's like, I'm happy to be here because I know where I'm going with a win. And there's no guaranteed wins here. No one comes on our air and just gets a win. You have to earn everything you get here. But the payoff is huge. And we're seeing it time and time again. We keep bringing up Angelo Leo. We're very proud of him, someone who fought on our air 3 times and then goes on to win a world title with a knockout of the year victory. But we're showing more and more guys. The class of ProBox TV has been elevated. And I think fighters who are coming up, who used to be in that same position, a year ago, 2 years ago, are seeing these guys step up to the next level. Hey, man, they want some too.
Yeah. This idea, Paulie, in this fight where there are going to be those moments where I think JOESHON James might have to bite down on his mouthpiece, and Lester Martinez might deal with a guy who's using some slickness, some foot movement, some footwork, some combinations. Who do you favor in that sense? One guy might have to bite down more than he's used to. Another guy might deal with some slickness that he's not exactly used to. What do you think of that contradiction there? What each guy's going to have to do?
I think there's probably moments where both are going to have to bite down a little bit more. You know, Lester is used to trying to break your mentality, but the interesting thing about a slick boxer is you get a high out of breaking the mentality of a pressure fighter. When you see that pressure fighter suddenly stop his momentum, or it's not bringing as much pressure anymore because he's second guessing himself, or he's starting to bite on more feints as he's coming forward. He's starting to, you know, break a little bit, even though mentally he's trying to still stay with what he does best, which is pressure you. It's just now you're in his head. That's a real mental lift during a fight. So that's really moments that JOESHON is going to be looking for, while Lester is going to be looking for, you know, breaking JOESHON in a way where JOESHON starts to run and he's more in flight than he is standing still and fighting, and not just fighting, but fighting in an effective way. You know, if you get JOESHON to stop and fight because he's forced to and he's not able to match you, you're breaking him mentally. If you get JOESHON to move around running and start to, you know, look for less and less impactful moments, you know, you've mentally broken him as well. So both guys are going to be looking for those advantages. And I think I think both guys may find those moments in spots. It's just, will the one who's in the negative in that moment, whichever way I described it, will they be willing to bite down? I think there's both moments where they're going to have to bite down. Those are the ones to look for.
Well, you're going to be able to see it yourself. That's right, September 11th, right here on ProBox TV. Download the ProBox TV app. It's going to be a great showdown at 168 pounds. We'll be back to break it all down for the next Big Fight Breakdown.
Wednesday Night Fights.
Dynamite action on Wednesday Night Fights every other Wednesday on your boxing channel.
Coming up on your next Wednesday Night Fights, September 11th, rising Guatemalan star Lester Martinez puts his O on the line against fellow undefeated warrior JOESHON Showtime James. Live from the ProBox Event Center in Plant City. Get your tickets at ProBoxTV.com or take your chances at the door. Wednesday Night Fights.
He's the pride of Guadalajara, the Mexican maestro, the unified super middleweight champion of the world, Canelo Alvarez. His challenger, undefeated knockout artist and pride of Puerto Rico, Edgar Berlanga. It's prime time.
Canelo versus Berlanga, plus Lara versus Garcia. Saturday, September 14th, live on PBC pay-per-view on Prime Video.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.